Hello, everyone. Welcome to the One Conscious Love Network. Nancy and I met on Facebook, but we have beautiful connections together with Lorna and Gina, beautiful souls. And so I'm so happy you're here. And I'm so happy that you've accepted this invitation to interview. And with that, Nancy, please introduce yourself and tell everyone how it is that you shed your light in the world.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm so happy to be here and in the One Conscious Love Network. It's a great name, title for what we're doing. Um, so I'm a loss and transformational grief specialist, and I subspecialize in pet loss and grief. I have a background as a licensed clinical social worker for over 45 years, if you can believe it. I can't.
Implies, right?
And also I'm certified life coach. So I work individually with people, but really my passion is in reaching a broader global um, group of people who experience loss and grief, whether it's human or pet. And I'm doing that now through my writing. I have a book coming out called I Miss You Already, Preparing for the Unbearable Loss of Your Pet. So this is about anticipatory grief, which is that grief that happens anytime, when you experience and you become aware that you're going to lose your loved one, human or pet. Could be years, it could be months, it could be days, depending on the circumstances. But while your pet or human is with you, and you're starting to grieve, you're starting to recognize that loss and anticipate that loss. That's a big part of my passion in helping people, because that is the window of opportunity to do healing with that human or pet while you have them, that you don't have that opportunity once they're gone. So I experienced this personally, which, I've been through really every kind of loss there is: health, career, um, car accident, both my parents within 5 years, fairly young deaths for them. And then of course my two service dogs, within 9 months of each other. Toaster was 17 years old, and her daughter Pink, who was born on Animal Planet, you can see that on my website, was 14. So they were with me for a long, long time, and I depended on them for a long, long time, and it was devastating. And when I, started to go through that with Toaster 2 years, literally before I actually lifted her up, I call it, instead of putting them down. It's a lifting up, which describes a lot of my mindset and methodology all rolled into one, to change that term putting down or euthanasia, because it doesn't describe really what an amazing experience you can make that parting be if you lift up instead of put down. So yeah, it was very powerful for me, because I when it came time for me to start thinking about and seeing that my dog Toaster was 14 at the time, going on 15, really starting to decline, and I could see at some point that I was going to lose her. She was declining. She had a lot of chronic problems, and she was aging, and her face got gray. And I'm like, one day I looked at it and I went like, how did that happen? And so when it came time for me to really start processing that, I realized I couldn't imagine killing my dog, which was how I interpreted euthanasia. It's like, you're killing your dog. And it was a really, I was surprised at how much that term affected me emotionally and mentally, to the point where I couldn't imagine that I could do it.
Right.
And and uh, and even though, I've worked with people, human pet loss, for many, many decades, I never really thought about euthanasia. I never judged anyone for, euthanizing their pet. And but when it came to mine, and when it came to me and my experience, it was a whole different term. And so I finally had a conversation with some people, and we all asked, what's the opposite of putting down? And it's lifting up.
Mm,
And in that lifting up, you are making this experience of parting healing already,
mm,
and not traumatic, and in the best interests of all concerned. Pink was present when I let Toaster go, and
mm,
yeah, they were. I didn't expect Pink, but 9 months by 9 months later, I had to lift her up as well.
mm, mm.
So that's, I don't know, that's a nutshell sort of.
I think it's so beautiful that it's so painful. I can still feel your pain, as you're describing the experience. But I think what's really beautiful is that you're really honoring them by helping others, helping yourself, and really taking this experience and making it into um, such a beautiful process for others and for yourself
Yes,
as well. I think it's
yes,
really
that's
special.
what that's why I call it transformational grief.
Mm,
Because my my motto is sort of transform loss into love, an expanded heart, which a lot of people contract when they lose a loved one,
yeah.
and grief into growth. That
Mm,
this can be a springboard for many different areas in personal growth work.
mhm,
Um, and I go into a lot of that in my book. And yes, it's Toaster and Pink's legacy through me. And that,
mm,
you're very astute to say that's how I'm honoring them, because that is exactly my intent. And it helped me to go
yeah.
through this process of how can I let go in a way that honors them.
Mm,
And I created a whole methodology around that I do help other people with, in their own way, in their own terms, in their own situations. So it's all how we do that lifting up is, it's not one size fits all. It's very customized to their situation. Some people have, I've worked with somebody who had literally half a morning before their mobile vet was coming to their house. They contacted me for the first time, and I changed the whole experience with that person. Um, it was really quite, I mean, it gives me goosebumps still to talk about that, because it was so visceral, that the change in just a good conversation with me over Zoom, before, in the hours before his vet was going to come, that it changed his whole trajectory of that grief process, and the dogs. So it's very powerful. And it can happen. I guess my point is, it can happen really hours before,
yeah.
days before, years before.
It's so beautiful to do it while the other soul's alive because you have the ability to change their experience as well. By changing your experience, you're changing everyone's experience, right?
That's right. That's right.
Mm,
Exactly right.
that's so beautiful. I love it.
Thank
It's
you.
beautiful work, and I can see your passion, and oh, it's wonderful. I'm so glad that you're here and that you're telling others about this experience and process and helping
Mhm.
others. That's really beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, my book is what's called a teaching memoir, which
Mm,
means that I use my professional expertise and combined through
Mm.
the lens of my personal journey about anticipatory grief and loss,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole, how do you find your resilience after that? So my dogs taught, just taught me all of that, so much of that, that it's really, for me, I know that since I was a little girl, literally, I knew that I was, my calling here on earth was to help other people heal. And I've done that all my life, professionally and otherwise. And it's no different now. It's just a very um, broader, in a way, a broader way that I'm doing it, because I'm not just one-on-one, helping one person at a time. I'm looking at, having an impact on the whole veterinarian industry, and
Yeah.
how euthanasia is not. I just found out actually recently. It's so surprising to me. A vet told me not only do they not get taught anything about grief
Mm.
for themselves or their clients, human clients, because they think of their
Right.
clients as really the animal, but it's
Right.
both, because
Yeah.
you can't have the animal without the pet, with the human. So
Yeah.
not only that, no grief education, but they're not even trained. They're told things about euthanasia, but they're expected to learn literally how to do it, the practicality of it, in their first job.
Wow.
I'm like, how did that ever come about?
Yeah.
Um, it's such a disservice to veterinarians,
Yeah.
who, by the way, have, alongside of dentists, they're the top two risk, suicide risk,
Mm.
and death by suicide of all professions. They're the
Mm.
top two. And I can understand how certainly the vets could get to a place after years
Mm.
of dealing with the whole experience of euthanizing, and the pet owner's grief, which often exceeds, rightly so, understandably so, human loss.
Mm.
Many people come to me and say, this was harder than losing my grandmother, than losing my
Oh.
parent. I experienced that myself. I was very close to both my parents, but when I lost Toaster, it was devastating in a way that losing my mom first wasn't.
Mm.
Um, and and the same with my dad. Doesn't mean that I didn't love them any less, or
No. Yeah.
it was just a different experience,
Yeah.
because pets are like our children.
Yeah.
If you're a pet parent, if you're a pet owner, nothing wrong with that, but you're
Mm.
not going to experience the loss the way a pet parent does.
Yeah.
So I am a pet parent, and the people that come to me are pet parents. So I totally understand how it's different. And it doesn't make it, you know, a more, a
Yeah.
greater grief, or
Yeah.
it's not right to compare them. But
Right.
because yeah, loss is loss, and every
Yeah.
loss is different, because every relationship is different, and every loss, happens in a different way from one to the other. So there's not any real benefit in comparing, but except for understanding that certain losses are so deep and so
Mm.
difficult to heal. And part of that is also because of the culture,
Mm-hmm.
especially here in the US. We don't have pet insurance companies. There are a few now, but
Mm.
forever there haven't been pet insurance companies that cover bereavement, that cover my services,
Right.
which is crazy, because
Mm.
these are people who, there's actually, I don't know what the statistic is exactly right now, but there has been stats run on um, death by suicide of pet parents,
Mm.
especially single people, or service dog people who have lost their pet and didn't get the help they needed and couldn't recover for one reason or another. And like, why isn't that covered by insurance? That's
Yeah.
a depression. That's a suicidal risk. It's not.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm now on my
Hmm.
bandstand. What do they call that?
I think it's
I'm,
beautiful though that you're creating change at such a large scale. I love that. I love that. And I can see that it's much needed, first of all, but also that it is your calling. I love that
yes,
you're taking it
yes,
on and that
yes.
you're on this journey. I love it.
Thank
We're
you.
going to put all your links in the comments so people can find you easily and refer you to friends and family that are experiencing or starting to approach the experience. Um, I always ask everyone this one question: what is one conscious love to you?
Well, that's to me, we are all connected and
Mhm.
we are all one, really. And so when you're conscious of that, you have you have an ability to tap into universal love, to tap
Mhm.
into the higher power of love, to whatever you call that, God, the universe, it doesn't really matter. It is what it is. And that we're all connected. And so for you to name your network that just, is such a welcoming, um, already it's a welcoming invitation to anybody that comes in contact with you and others in your network.
Oh, thank you, Nancy. That's so sweet. I love that. And I do feel like your message is one of love and compassion to the
Mm.
ultimate degree. So I'm very happy that you're here today. And we'll
Thank you.
definitely have to have you on again when your book is available and
Thank
celebrate
you.
that together for sure.
Yes.
For
Yes.
sure. Well,
Thank
we'll put
you.
all your links so it's easy for people to find you. And thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. My honor.
Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you soon.